Welcome back to episode 7. I don't have that many fingers on this hand. Can't do that. 7 right there of the Off the Rails podcast. We have 2 special guests with us today. This is the first 2-guester that we've had. We'll coin that term.
Yes.
Oh, you're getting a little bit of little bit of insight on their voice. Who is it? Oh, you probably watched it and saw the title, but with us today we've got Adam and Paige.
Howdy, hey.
And go ahead and tell the guys and girls. It's a majority of guys that listen to this podcast. Maybe you're going to change some things.
And bring some girls in the mix.
Maybe. But tell them who you are, what you do.
I'm Adam Calvert, musician extraordinaire. This is my now fiancé, Miss Paige Hardwick, who also is my manager, our booking agent. She manages the band, and she takes good care of me as well.
I try.
Yeah. And how, you said you just got engaged. This was when?
So it was December, now was it 28th or 27th or 28th, I think?
I think the 27th.
You sure? Maybe it was the 27th. December 27th, just this last December.
Already got a cut. But no, so how was, like, this, tell us about it. Like, where were you? What happened?
Gatlinburg. So Gatlinburg was one of the very first trips that we took as a couple. And I thought that would be the most fitting place to propose. We did it on the Sky Bridge, which was really exciting. And the hotel room that we ended up getting, you could just look straight up the mountain to the Sky Bridge at night. And the way they have it made is like all the red lights come to the middle, and where the glass partition is where you can see straight down, that's all white lights. So from down at our hotel room, you could see the exact spot where I proposed. So I was nervous, wasn't
Yeah, it's probably the most nervous I've ever seen him in my life.
She knew. She was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I'm just so nervous of heights. Like, I'm scared of heights."
Yeah.
Because you have to ride a ski lift. The only way to get to this place is by ski lift from Gatlinburg up the mountain just a little bit. So, and I've been on that ski lift before, and it still kind of scared me. So it worked out because I was like, I am really nervous because of the heights.
Yeah, it worked out.
No, I think, did they redo that whole area after the fires and stuff these last few years?
You can still tell. It's unbelievable. You can see all the dead trees and all the log homes that are being rebuilt, all the chalets. Yeah, I'm very unfortunate. I had a lot of friends that lost homes in there.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because I lived there from 05 to 08, so 3 years, and then again from like 11 to 13. So I lived there like 5 years total. So, but yeah, a lot of Gatlinburg was destroyed, but it's definitely coming back. It's looking good.
Oh, yeah. No, we went down there like 6 to 7 months after, and it was, you could tell, but it was already starting to grow back. It was like crazy. Like, you're like, this was just all burnt down. It's wild how like just crazy it'll grow.
Just a couple kids that did it, and I think they got off with not like terrible charges. I can't remember what it was, but people died. I mean, a lot of people got stuck in their homes. Up there in Gatlinburg. For people who've never been to Gatlinburg, I mean, you can go up in those mountains pretty far. So if you get stuck, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, you do any hiking down there?
Yeah, so my favorite trail forever has been Rainbow Falls, which is like one of the popular trails. That Chimney Tops is another good one that I like. Rainbow Falls is our favorite. We go back every time. I've done that one so many times that I know like little spots where you can kind of sneak off and go off the trail and all that. But I've definitely gone there late at like too late, and the sun has gone over the other side of the mountain, and it gets dark quick.
On the way down,
have my phone out, like following the trail, and it was not fun. And I tell people all the time, like, it's time to turn around.
A little bit of a Kane Brown situation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they tell you there in Gatlinburg, like every year 11 people get lost in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountain National Parks.
Yeah, no, we love going out there. I try to get down to Gatlinburg once or twice a year.
That's where Robinette's going to be.
Is it?
I think, him and a couple folks are going for Valentine's Day. That's this weekend.
We're going to miss it.
Yeah, they wanted us to go. We really wanted to because we love Gatlinburg, but duty calls. We're playing in Chicago this weekend, so I have to be there.
So are you guys back to touring more now?
Yeah, it's starting to pick up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there's wins and losses, and I think it's going to continue to be that way throughout the year. I mean, there's going to be states that have, rises in cases, so therefore they're going to have to take different measures. There's states that aren't going to care as much, so they're not going to take those measures. It is what it is. Every state's different. So we're finding like Florida and the southern states that, depend on tourism, they're really going to try to make it happen. The states with high cases like New York and California, I mean, it's going to be a while if you play there, but we had this weekend, we're playing in Chicago. It's about an hour west of Shorewood. It's a suburb of Chicago. And of course, that's a hot spot, but being out in the suburbs, they've been able to deal with it. And then we were supposed to play in Roanoke, Virginia the weekend after. So not this coming weekend, but next weekend.
And that'll be, so today is what, the 11th? 10th?
10th.
So this airs the next Tuesday.
Okay.
Nice.
So
we'll be done from Chicago.
Yeah, so you'll be back from Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chicago's great. But yeah. So this coming weekend, we were going to be in Virginia at Roanoke, a place we've played a bunch of times. Sidewinders, such a great venue, a honky tonk like you wouldn't believe. But unfortunately, Virginia's having spike in cases.
Yeah. No, usually I go over it with everyone. I say this is today, and then this comes out Tuesday, and I always try to make a big deal about it, but it's got to a point where it doesn't matter as much. But no, we've gotten through a little bit of it, but now let's move on a little bit to how did you get into music? I'm sure this is a very broad question for you, but how did you get started with it? What got you interested in it, and what made you who you are right now?
Well, my roots, Cambridge, my hometown. I used to go to the Hopalong Cassidy Festival growing up every year, and I think my parents just heard me singing along to songs in the car, like "Should Have Been a Cowboy" and "It's Your Love," and songs that came out in '96 or so. I was about 5 or 6 years old when I think they heard me singing along in the car and was like, "Oh, he likes to sing." And then I somehow noticed I like to dress like Garth Brooks and wear cowboy hats and things like that, and I just started loving country music at that age and started singing along. And I think the Hopalong Cassidy Festival was probably one of the first festivals I ever played here in Guernsey County. And then I also started singing at retirement facilities. It used to be Red Carpet. Now I think it's something else. It's renamed.
Oh,
right. Yeah. But one of our retirement facilities here in town. But that's kind of how I got my start, and I realized that this is what I wanted to do. And now I'm 28, and nothing's changed. I'm gonna follow it forever.
Right. Yeah. I remember. I still have people, that I've worked with. They're like, "Oh, I remember. He used to be this tall, singing in all these places and all that." Yeah. So you've been here for a while. Now you did an MTV show, and I don't know the exact timeline here, but you can talk a little bit about that. But then when does Paige come into the mix?
Yeah, that was the best days. So I've been playing out at the honky tonks and bars since about 2012 or 13. So I graduated from school in Cincinnati where we filmed that MTV show, and that was definitely a turning point in my career. Being on TV helps you big time, but it also doesn't at a certain extent. Like, there were places that wouldn't book me, in other areas because, a TV show is so vast that they can't, pinpoint different groups to come to your show. So like, it didn't help me to a certain extent. But it was definitely a big turning point. So I think, I don't know. The show was a lot of fun. Yeah. But it was a show. Right. Now the real music sets in. Yeah. And making the real.
And so that was what, that was 2012-ish.
That was 2011.
Okay.
Yep. It filmed. We filmed it and it aired. I think 2011 and 12.
Okay. So then that's when you started getting really into more of the music side, less of the theatrical TV side, right? And so that's interesting. And then I might not be remembering this detail correctly, but you two met at a party, is that right?
No, so actually we met on the lake. We met out here at Seneca Lake, believe it or not, and it's really quite funny because I have a little rickety awful boat, and it's still being worked on. It falls apart all the time, and at the time I was terribly broke, and I didn't have any kind of money or anything, and all I wanted to do was go to the lake. I just love the lake, so I ended up taking that boat out. It's pretty much sinking, and I never posted on Facebook like, hey, I've got a boat, like let's go out on my boat or anything like that. But I honestly didn't have any friends because I've been moving around so much. I didn't really have a lot of close friends here in town, and so I posted on Facebook like, hey, anyone want to free ride out on a boat? Like, I just want to go out. If anyone wants to jump on, like, come on out, just bring a case of beer or whatever. And she wrote and was like, she commented on there. She was like, oh, me and my friends are going to be out there. We'll see you there. And I was like, oh, who is this? Like, oh, I never met her before. Who is this? And when I got out to the lake, I was like, hey, what's going on? You want to meet up with me? And her and her friend came over on the jet ski. And I was like, oh, my Lord. I had this terrible orange life preserver, whatever you call it, life jacket that you use. It's not like a ski vest. It's it's orange. It's one of those bright orange ones they throw you if you're overboard. And I ended up it was old and dry rotted and ripped and falling apart. And I ended up getting on the jet ski with her, and all the foam was falling out of this thing. And I thought, man, she's gonna think I'm who is this guy? But she ended up really, really taking to me somehow. I'm not sure what she saw, but she did.
Yeah. So Paige, what were you thinking on this Facebook post?
You know what? I wasn't thinking, I guess. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I didn't really look at his profile or anything. I was just like, wow, there's a guy that's going to be at the lake. Let's go have fun. Let's ride jet skis, because I'm very adventurous. I was like, you know what? We'll give this a shot. So I messaged him. I'm like, let's meet at the lake. And I really didn't think he would actually, meet me out on the lake.
Their friend didn't like me. Their friend did not like me.
No,
she was like, this guy, like, who is he? What is he wearing?
She was
like,
just protective. She was being a good friend, And since the first time, he was like, do you want to go on another date? And I'm like, I don't know.
I was like, do you want to jump off the boat? Like, do you want to hold hands and jump off? I don't know what it was, like what got into me, but like within an hour of knowing her, I was like, you want to hold my hand and jump off this boat? She's like, sure.
Was it the alcohol?
Right.
It could have been.
Maybe.
I definitely had a little liquid courage, a little twisted teas out in the sun, but I don't know. I felt like it was time to take that leap. And I had been single for quite some time and, really wanting to settle down and meet the right person, but I wasn't going to rush it and I wasn't going to settle either. But, from the moment I met her, each date, I was just like, wow, like I kept being skeptical, thinking like, maybe I'm going to find this thing out about her that I'm just going to be like, well, that's just not for me. But every date, furthermore, I found more and more things that I loved about her and hardly nothing that I didn't like about her. And that's still true to this day.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You just got engaged.
5 years.
Actually,
we've been together 5 years.
Wow. That's very, very. That's cool. Yeah. What was the first song you had written? Maybe not written. What was the first song you put out?
So the first song we put, I don't know if you consider those yeah, probably. So you have SoundCloud, and then you have, of course, so like SoundCloud, you put things out that's not like for sale or anything like that. So I'd say like my first like Spotify single would be "Sun Kissed Summertime," which I wrote with right.
Wait, no, release "Who I Want to Be" first.
Oh no, that's
"Who I Want to Be."
You sure?
"Who I Want to Be," "Sun Kissed Summertime," and then "On the Outside,"
Who I
where
Wanna Be was
people don't
first?
go. Yeah, because we did Calvert County High School, a release party.
Oh, that's right.
For Reach and
See, that's
Teach.
why I've got her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it would be "Who I Want to Be," which I wrote about this area, and I wrote the chorus of "Who I Want to Be." When I was younger, I'd say when I was probably like 17, going through back and forth between here and Tennessee. And I was just kind of, I've been lost and found several times in my life still, and I probably will be, for the rest of my life. But at that point, I was really, debating, going back and forth, and if it was what I want, and like what I wanted to do with music. And I mean, it's just playing music's a hard career path, And but that's what "Who I Want to Be" was written about, was who do I want to be type thing. So it was cool. I had the chorus written, and I had it for years and couldn't finish the song, and I was so bummed. I'm like, man, this chorus is so cool. And I went to Nashville in 2000. It would have been probably 2009 probably or so. And I played the chorus for a couple guys, and they were like, yeah, let's write that one right now. We sat around for an hour and couldn't figure out anything to write. We're just like, man, scratching our heads. And they were like, well, do you have anything halfway finished that we could help you finish? I was like, well, I got this one chorus, but it's really close to my heart. I don't really want to give it up, but if you guys want to help me. And as soon as they heard it, they're like, we're going to finish that. And we did right then and there. So it's a very special song.
Yeah. That's cool. So that was 2015-ish, 5 years or so?
I would say so. Let's see. When I wrote it would have been probably 2010 or 11 when I wrote it, but I didn't actually get it recorded and released till 2017 or 18.
Around the end of 2017, beginning of 2018.
Which was cool because we took the song, we filmed it, and I recorded it in Nashville at the Amber Sound Studio, which is a really cool recording studio in Nashville. And so we recorded 3 songs over a period of a few days, and we filmed the entire process. So it was really cool to show fans, here's how we went about recording the song. And it was all with live musicians, which was really cool too.
Yeah, no, so that would lead me. I was thinking, since you started after the show 2011-ish, you were really starting to hit music hard, and you said you wrote that in 2010, 11. What was there a point, or was it just a natural progression of? Were you playing a lot more, shows at this point for that, 2010 to 2015 range? And then what point were you like, let's go and let's put out our own stuff? You said you had SoundCloud stuff, but professionally, I
think I always was in and out of writing. I try to write as much as I can, but there's periods in my life where I wasn't able to write as much. But I think around that time, what was the question? I'm sorry.
That was a very stretched out question. So your first, single comes out, Spotify, you're professionally done single 2017, that area. From 2011 to that point? Was
Just
it just
gigging.
a slow? Yeah,
Pretty much just
was it
gigging.
just a lot of that?
Banging my head against the bars, me and the guy who plays bass for us now, Lloyd Blythe.
Okay.
We pretty much played every single place there is in the Western North Carolina area, and that's what I did from basically 2011 and 12 until 15 or 16. Till I was like, North Carolina really wasn't my region. I'm from Ohio. It makes more sense to start a good base in my hometown area, and that's when I kind of came back.
Yeah.
Started playing around here, and then started going back to Nashville and recording again.
Yeah, and going back to Nashville, when did you and Ryan meet up?
So, I've known of Ryan my entire life, but he'd probably tell the story differently.
Yeah.
But Ryan reached out. My cousin Lindsay knows Jenna, Ryan's wife, really well. They went to school. Dance together, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like not that kind of dancing, ballet, and so my cousin Lindsay was like, hey, told Jenna, like, hey, tell Ryan you should reach out to my cousin Adam, and he did, and apparently I didn't message him back.
Ghosted him.
Apparently I ghosted him. There's a lot going on. There was a lot going on. I missed it somehow. But anyway, years and years later, Paige and I, he came up in conversation. We're like, you know what? I need to meet this guy like officially and get to know him. And ever since then, him and I just became great buddies. We write songs all the time. But not only that, he's definitely given me like a helping hand on the songwriting circuit. Mm-hmm. I've never written more than I have now, and it's been a lot of fun. Paige and I have been spending a ton of time in Nashville. It seems like every other week with Ryan writing songs with new people. We wrote last week with Hayden Kaufman. He's got a bunch of great songs out. We wrote a song that it's called Silverado that I plan on putting out sometime this summer. So he's been a great friend. He's turned in from being a songwriting partner to a buddy.
Yeah, no, it must be something about this area, because I don't know.
We grow them.
Good people.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So somewhere along the line, I think I met him at Jurassic. So my sister knew his manager at the time, and so he, I was just out there. I was like, I'm here. I don't know if I don't think I filmed anything actually at that point. But he needed someone to sell merch. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Heck yeah.
I was probably like 18, like coming fresh out of high school, maybe senior year of whatever. But I just remember doing that, and then at some point, I think he saw some of the video stuff I was doing here, and he's like, it'd be cool probably just to come down. And I went down there one time, and we went and. We've done so much stuff. I barely remember the first thing I went down there for, but we filmed a couple music videos and all this stuff now, and it's now we're all pretty much good friends. So,
awesome. Yeah,
so it's turned into a little bit of a thing. We've got you on here now, so now we're connected pretty good.
And I like it. That's like the whole point of the entertainment industry in general, is being able to do what you love to do with other people that love doing it. Mm-hmm. It's been very special, and of course, Ryan introduced me to you. And when he first told me about you, he's like, man, there's this guy, like, you just have to meet him. He's a go-getter. He's got a great eye, and like he only talked great things about you. So he's really good at connecting people.
Yeah, he is.
It's funny because when we're out in Nashville, which you're going to find out here soon, there's hardly a person that doesn't know him, and then everyone that knows him, talks good of him. And I told Paige, I'm like, I've never met a person that's so generous. Like, he always is buying. Like, if someone comes up to him, he's like, I haven't seen you. He's like, can I buy you a beer? And I'm just like, man, like, he's just so nice that he let one of his buddies borrow his car for like a week and a half last week. Wow. And I was like, and it was his own, like, that was his car.
The hybrid.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
Very good person.
Yeah. No, he somehow comes up almost every podcast, one way or another. So he must be doing something right.
Ryan.
There's one way. Yeah.
No.
Should have had Brad come and sit in the background. Yeah. No. Yeah. But yeah.
You need to get him on a podcast and talk about
Brad?
his business. That'd be cool.
Yeah. No.
Dude, you be on a podcast with him for 4 hours.
Yeah.
He'd never stop.
Yeah. When there's one time we were bringing these people from Mexico.
You'd be like, so what's the trucking business like? Well, the truck's way back in.
No, he'd be a good one. I'm going to have to add him to the list.
For sure.
But yeah,
God.
Up to this point, this is whatever day this is. I should have looked, but it's too late now. This is third week of February. Yeah.
Gonna be, yeah.
And then we've got one more, Johnny Westfall, one of your buddies. At least
Johnny.
You've introduced me to him. He'll be on for last week of February.
Oh man, everyone will love seeing him.
Yeah,
he's a good time.
He's a podcaster. He's into that stuff, I think.
He's a hard worker. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, he is.
I remember years and years, like 5 or 6 years ago, when he was working for PETA or PETA, however you say the name, and he was just like, man, he's like, it's a great job. He's like, but I'm going to start my own business, and like he's stuck, just like we speak, into the universe, like he does the same thing, but he like puts his actions behind it. He's a real hard worker.
Yeah. And speaking of hard work, Paige does a lot of the planning. Your manager, is that the official title?
I guess artist manager,
Agent,
publicist,
yeah.
agent, booking
soon
agent,
soon to be wife.
soon to be wife,
yeah.
all of the above.
Yeah. No. So how is that? You know, tell us a little bit about that. Was a very open statement.
Yeah, you know what? I have never been happier, but let's just say when I started taking over the business side of his career, I mean, I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing today. His mom, I can just remember sitting at the kitchen table, and I was going through college. I was at the Ohio State University. I was working at an internship. I wasn't very happy. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with my life, really. But I was getting through college, and his mom just sat with me at the table and was like, you know what? You could book shows for him. Like, you could work with him. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think you started calling some places
Yeah,
here
I
and
was
there.
like, we'll see. You know, I was just worried about getting through school. And you know what? I just started casually booking a couple shows. And then, of course, a couple years later now, I book all the shows. But it's definitely been a long run. But, you know, I've never been happier. And I first started going to these conventions with him. And that's how I now book all of his fairs and festivals.
Her favorite thing to go to.
Which
She
I
just loves them.
absolutely love the conventions. It's like Christmas for me. You know, you get to see all different types of people in the entertainment industry. So it was super, super cool. So then I got a lot of experience, you know, going to those conventions and dealing with booking agents and artist managers and, you know, anyone, you know, that puts on a big event at a fair or festival. So that's kind of when I started, you know, booking the shows for him. And now I book fairs and festivals, I book private events, I book bars, I book campgrounds. You know, it kind of just depends.
Yeah. So it was a self-taught pretty much? You just tried to figure it out?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I'd interview and, you know, ask a bunch of booking agents and artist managers questions. But, you know, a lot of videos online and just taught myself as I went, I guess.
Every day we learn something new. You know, there's way more behind it than people realize, and like that's why we work with this program called Reach and Teach, where they bring this whole side of everything to a school and let them run the inner workings so that they can see just how much work there is. Like, there's so many jobs that people don't see. You know, of course, we try to do a lot of it on our own at this point, but I mean, when it comes to the production side of it, there's just so many working parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and just in general, when booking the show, I mean, you have to look and see, one, are they booking up and coming artists? Or is it a built-in crowd? Will they provide sound? Are meals included? You know, all these things that even puts an artist in the place to be able to play the show. Or they have transportation. Is there a band? Is there a driver? You know, so there's a lot of working parts that goes into behind the scenes.
People don't see it.
To make everything successful.
Yeah.
She does all of that. Like, she'll call ahead and, you know, make, you know, just because the more work she does on the front end, the less headache there is on the back end. So like, she'll call ahead and be like, hey, we want to make sure we can park the bus and load in at this time. Like, she makes itineraries and sends it out to all the bands so they all know, hey, that they're to be load in at the bus and we're leaving this time. You know, we're going to arrive at the venue. Here's the address. Like, you know, of course she runs it all past me and we double check it. So like, and of course we miss things, but we try to have each other's back. But she does all that work, and I'll tell you what, it's all that stuff that frees me up to do the other stuff. You know, right? And,
the goal of him is for him to focus on the artistic side of his career, and then I just handle the business side. But we work great together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you also do do you do a lot of the production stuff too, as far as getting lights set up?
She runs the lights.
Yeah, I run the lights.
At the moment, we're working on, you know, getting
Well, I've seen the big light setup.
Yeah, I work
a few
with our
times,
production
so-
manager over like the tracking. Like, Adam runs Ableton tracks now, so they're like split into 15-minute segments, and then, you know, we have like a 90-minute show for the fairs and festivals, and then an extended set list, you know, for the bars, clubs, campgrounds, and stuff like that. But it's definitely a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't see.
Fun part.
The fun part. I love it. You know, I mean, that's why I'm doing it. But
You know,
it's amazing.
We could probably, you know, hire people to, you know, help load things off the bus and all that kind of stuff. But that's one of our favorite parts when we get there. It's like, oh, a ton of work, and we're very hands-on for sure.
Do you have a certain type of venue you like? That's kind of. But, you know, are you going to a bar? Do you like the bigger events or the more?
I don't know. They're all just different, you know.
Got their own scene.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You know, we play a lot.
Of course, right now I bet a lot of
shows.
people want to see a big concert. You know?
That's the hard. That's going to be right now the hardest, you know, because to bring a bigger production, it costs more money. So therefore, you got to have more people in the stands and the seats, and they're not allowed. So we're seeing more acoustic shows at the beginning of this season than last year. But we still have, you know, band shows at the Hangout and like Gulf Shores. We're playing we played a band show last weekend in Chicago. You know, so there's still, you know, band shows coming out. It's just gonna take a little more time, probably.
Right.
Our production's ready to roll.
Yeah, we're ready to
Been
rock.
planning? Yeah, you probably had a lot of time to plan over there.
We needed the time.
and
We
we still, I
definitely
mean,
did.
it's still crazy because we're like, oh man, we have less than a month till we go on tour, and then when we get back from touring the golf, it's straight to Fair Festival season up north, and we're like, oh my gosh, do we have everything ready? But we just got the tour bus back from the shop. You know, it's ready to rock and roll. My dad told me, he's like, I think it's ready to go to California and back a couple times.
Yeah.
New tires on it.
It almost made it to Wagon Wheel one day.
I know. Almost didn't.
Man, I remember we were waiting. We were just sitting in there, and I don't know. We saw like a fire truck or something go by, and Ryan said, "That's probably Adam." And we were like, "Ha ha."
Joking.
Yeah, we were just kidding. He's like, "That's probably Adam making a show." So we look outside. It is Adam. It was.
Ryan comes out. He's like, "You just had to do it, didn't you?" I'm like, "Dude, come on!" Like, my bus is over there smoldering.
Yeah. No, he was like, come film it. I'm like, okay. I do remember filming afterwards, and I just remember not breathing for like 3 seconds. He got me with
You
the
wouldn't
fire
even
extinguisher.
notice it now. It's all like it's never happened. But
Yeah.
that was definitely very scary.
No, the bus is cool. We use it out at Brad's for the, I don't know what they want to call it, the Tent City
Yeah, Tent City.
Festival.
Yeah, that
maybe
was
we'll call
fun.
it the festival now. But yeah, it's a sweet little ride. You
It
got
served
there.
its purpose for sure. We're happy to have it back and ready to roll. And then on the production side of things, we've invested into more lights this year, more trusses, just more equipment in general. So we're really excited for people to see it. It's just people just need to come on out.
Yeah. So do you guys do a lot of work on? Did you do a lot of work personally on the bus? And where did that come
We
from?
actually were hands on, weren't we?
Yeah, we're pretty hands-on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't, but I mean, we did buy the bus as a shell, so it's completely gutted. It's a Prevost Mirage, which Prevost makes some of the best chassis in the world. They're out of Canada, and the shell itself, the motor, the tranny, the transmission, everything is made really well. The guts are really replaceable. So somebody had taken all the guts out of it, and we've completely rebuilt the inside from scratch. So even though the bus, the shell, it was built in 1986, I think, the inside is completely brand new. So that's the water system, the water tanks, all that stuff. The entire interior has all been my dad, myself, and Paige, and then we've had like maybe one other person come and help. So I'd say a lot of it's my dad. My dad's pretty brilliant when it comes. He's wired the whole thing to where the lights are all iPad controlled and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
But getting this maintenance that we just did was something we've been wanting to do for years because we just it hadn't been like. They raised it up off the ground. I mean, I forget how many tons this bus weighs, but it was kind of scary to see this bus raised like 6 feet off the ground, and they're under it checking everything. So it'll make it more comfortable for this year to know that it's been looked all over by a big rig mechanic, and it's ready to rock. So
Yeah.
we're excited.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Those are things we couldn't do on our own. We do oil changes on it on our own though.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
No,
make-
they're expensive.
That's probably a little. Is it hard with?
It is. You have to crawl under the bus.
That's what I figured.
So it's
There's
kind of
probably a lot
difficult. But
involved.
an oil change costs. The oil alone costs a couple $100s, and then the have someone do it costs a few hundred. So just doing it yourself, you save some money for sure.
So where do you take that? I mean, as far as, are you taking it touring this upcoming?
Yeah, so we're not going to take it on the Gulf Coast tour.
Yeah.
It's I think 1,100 miles each way down to the Gulf. So, and we do a lot of. It's mostly all acoustic shows.
Probably a lot
so,
of gas too.
Yeah, it would just be a waste of funds to take the bus down there. So we normally run a pickup truck with a cap on the back, so all the gear stays in there, and that's how we run the Gulf Coast tour. But when we get back in April, all the big fair, that's when the fair and festival season will start up. Which we signed contracts for several fairs and festivals in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Delaware. We're playing the Delaware State Fair again this year. So they're all looking optimistic. Of course, there could be a rise in cases. Anything could happen. We all know that. But for the most part, it looks like everyone's excited to make it happen one way or another.
Yeah, and
We'll take the bus to those.
Yeah. Home away from home.
I could be all over the place in that thing.
How many days did we stay in it at Delaware State Fair?
2
10?
weeks. Yeah, about 13 days.
Yeah, so that was like drummer, bass guitar player, bus driver. Was it like 6 or 7 people?
Yeah.
Stayed on the bus for a week. Yeah, we had
2 weeks.
we had almost 2 weeks. We had running water and all that kind of stuff from the venue. So we had unlimited power and water and sewer. So didn't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. But it definitely was tight. Paige and I, we use that back lounge pretty much as our bedroom. So that works out.
What is your most memorable gig or tour or ever? Just what or even if you have to pick a few, what are some places or events or crowds that just stuck out to you where you're like,
I would say
this
the
is crazy
Hangout,
or this is
yeah.
awesome or
We could tell a story about that, how I got
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, the Hangout, that's probably one of our favorite venues. It's just so cool. The people are there to have a great time. It started out as like a surf shack, and now it's this like monstrous venue, and they have like 5 or 6 bars all scattered
Really?
around. They have a big courtyard and then a monstrous stage. So I'd say that's probably one of our favorite places.
Oh, definitely.
It's right on the beach. While we're playing country music, you feel the breeze and you can see the water. And so like on our breaks, we'll walk out to the beach, and then before and after the show, walk out on the beach. So it's really nice. They treat us really well there too.
Yeah, definitely a favorite.
Yeah. And what's it? You said you had a story about the Hangout?
Oh, yeah. So actually, I grew up vacationing with my family at the Hangout before I met Adam.
Okay.
And I always loved the venue, always loved the bands because we went every single year. So I had been there, 10, 15 different times. So then I met Adam. This was before I handled the booking or anything. My family was going to go on a vacation. And he unfortunately had to work or something, so he couldn't go. And I just remember him telling me, one day I'll play there. Like one day we can go for work and visit with your family. And then, a couple years went by and I just reached out to the Hangout and like, look, I'm now booking this Nashville artist. He would absolutely love to play, at the Hangout. And we got a call within a couple days. And they were like, how about we hire him twice a week throughout the whole summer? And I told Adam, I'm like, this was right when I started booking him. So he wasn't fully booked at all, really. So I'm like, you know what? Let's take it.
Right.
I'm like, this is the start. And I'm like, I'm crazy, but I'm like, if I'm going to be full force in this, we're going to, we're going to make it work.
We lived there the first
year.
The first tour that we went on in March, we pretty much lived in Gulf Shores and played at the Hangout most of the time, and then a few other venues. But it's definitely a place that we like looked at for a long time and been like, oh, we got to get there. And then
and they've also stuck by him because, he started playing there. He didn't have an official band. The set list wasn't near as what it is now. He just wasn't taking it as professional as I thought he should. And then so they've kind of stuck with him from day one, and they've seen Adam grow, which has been amazing. And we're all about building a strong relationship with the venue, and of course,
they're like
building
family,
his concert
when we
attendance.
get down there, they're like, "Oh, we've missed you! Like so good! It's hugs." Like we played, who knows how many shows
I would say
there now?
50 to 100.
Yeah,
Really?
we played a ton of shows, and they put us up in a hotel that's owned by the company, and so a lot of company employees stay at that hotel, so they see us after the show, and they're just like, "Man, we enjoyed listening to you while we were busting tables." You know what I mean? It's just family atmosphere. Like Gulf Shores is a lot. I mean, there's a ton of tourist cities in the Panhandle and all around Florida, but Gulf Shores is like the most like Pigeon Forge I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me so much of Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, to where there's hardly anyone that lives there. Like it's a very small population of people who live there,
Just
but
touristy.
there's millions of people that come there per year. So everything's tailored to tourists, and everyone seems to be really happy. And you see people from all types of walks, all walks of life there. Like all around, there's people from all around the world that come to live in Gulf Shores for some reason, just like Pigeon Forge.
Yeah. And you just mentioned a set list, I guess transitioning a little bit. This is kind of for people who maybe are interested in getting started into this stuff. You two would probably be a very good resource for that. Right? Maybe. Right?
Maybe she would.
It depends.
Look at each other. Oh, fine. But what goes into building like a set list for a show? Or like how does it evolve over time? Is it a location? Is it a fan base or certain crowds and stuff?
Above. Yeah, I'd say it definitely depends on the region. Then again, you don't have like a million set lists. You can only learn so much, and then we have 2 different bands, so like sending all the material. But we kind of gauge the audience, in different areas, and it's taken time. But we look and be like, oh, this one just doesn't get that response. Like people are like, yeah, it's a good song, but like we want every song to be like melt your face. Like every song's gonna be like, oh my god, I love this song.
That's the
like
goal.
every single song, because when you go to your favorite artist concert, of course they play songs maybe that you've not heard, but for the most part, it's like, oh my god, like oh my god, you're just so excited because you recognize that song. So we try to keep it with the tunes that everyone will recognize. So songs that even if you lived under a rock in Papua New Guinea, you've heard that song. So like Friends in Low Places, Sweet Caroline. If that would be my suggestion for people like trying to up their game and look at their set list, is try to really cater the set list not at all you got to play what you want to play, but that's what your originals are for. As far as covers, pick the covers that people are going to know, because a lot of times I see artists will go out and they'll do songs that people just don't recognize, and that might be fun for you,
Right.
But like for the audience, they're not. It's just not the same.
Okay.
It's taken us a long time
years
to like weed out. I'd say now there's still a few songs we're trying to weed out, but for the most part, every single song serves a purpose. A feeling. We slow it down to like say Tennessee Whiskey to like give the folks it might be like banger, 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 and then Tennessee Whiskey to give people a chance to like slow dance, and then we'll bring it up just a little bit with like a mid-tempo original, and then back into Melt Your Face again. So it should be like a roller coaster ride, ups and downs. A wise producer once told me, if you can make them laugh and you can make them cry, that you own the audience. So we try to do that.
That's cool. Yeah. I know what I was going to say. Now moving into your newest song, what do you got? Is it anything? You can do your newest release, or if you want to talk a little bit about stuff you're working on.
Well, I've been writing with Ryan a bunch. We're really excited. It's about the new music industry is about getting music out there. Of course, you want to put out your greatest work, but it's a lot about content. So I've been writing with a guy named Hayden Kaufman. With Ryan, great dude. Wrote with Chris Sly. We worked with Chris Sly a couple weeks ago. He wrote "Here Comes Goodbye" for Rascal Flatts. So he's a #1 hit songwriter. Great guy, just awesome dude. Of course, I got Where People Don't Go that's out right now, and everyone that listens to this podcast should check it out. It's really cool. Yeah. Ryan Robinette wrote the song with me, and he co-produced the audio to the track. And then Ryan McVeigh and Bronson Allison, two of our good production friends, shot the music video all here in southeastern Ohio. So for everyone that's local listening, if you want to see some really cool pictures of your area, like definitely check it out, because we filmed it about a week before all the leaves dropped. So it just had the best color you're going to get right before. It was a pretty chilly. It was the perfect time. So check that out, everyone who's listening. But gonna release a new song March, sometime mid-March. It's gonna be a beach song because we'll be down on the Gulf Coast. And I kind of went to Ryan and was like, hey, I'm going down to the Gulf. If we don't write a beach song, it's not a huge deal, but I'd like to try to. He said, well, let's sit down and let's do it. So we sat down and wrote with a girl, actually a Cincinnati girl, Tana Matz. Yeah. Really a sweetheart. She's a great girl. And we sat down and wrote all day, and got halfway through the day, and we got halfway through the song, and I was pretty fatigued. And I told Ryan, I said, we want to cut it off for a day, grab some dinner. He goes, man, I'm in the groove. Like, let's just hammer this thing out. So we stayed, and we ended up finishing it that night. Yeah. And it's called Comes in Waves. I really like it. We're still playing with some melodies and some progressions and things like that, but we've already sent the work tape to the producer, and he's getting rolling on producing the track. And then hopefully it looks like February 22nd we're going to record the song, and soon after that we'll get it out on Spotify.
Yeah. So what goes into a writing session? Is it just, most people might think, oh, let's just get in here and write together. Is it that simple?
It's awkward for sure. It's it's definitely a weird thing, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get, no doubt. And that's why lately I've been like scheduling writes as much as possible. And Ryan's like the king of writing. Like, I'm telling you, that guy is gifted. He's a great he's a gifted songwriter, and but he also knows he's taken years to learn the tricks of the trade, and going in with an open mind. Doing 3-way writes helps big time, because like having a third person to run off of, and it makes it so much less awkward, because like you could be sitting with that one person and not be coming up with anything and being like, what about this? And they might be like, and then the third person will be like, well, no, actually that is kind of cool. It definitely helps doing a 3-way write. But I normally walk in, and Ryan I think does the same thing, and walk in and out. You got to decide, are you just writing a song to write a song? Am I writing a song for me, or are we writing a song for you, or are we writing a song just to pitch it and hopefully someone picks it up? So that's kind of the first thing to go around. And then, like last week we wrote for, I can't think of his name. Nick Walker. Yeah, I was going to say Key West guy.
If you listened a few podcasts ago, I forgot your name. So
that's
I said, we have 4 guests for February. These 3 and
Alan Calvert.
No. I said, I don't remember who the last one was. And then about at the end, I said, oh yeah, it's Adam.
It happens.
Yeah, I'm bad with names. Yeah, we wrote with Ryan and I wrote with a guy named Nick Walker. Everyone should check him out. He's from Ohio. He's from Geneva. Yeah. But he's lived in Key West for the last half a decade, I think, and now he's in Nashville. But when we wrote, we sat down, and he was just like, hey, I've got a title. Here's kind of what I'm playing around with. And Ryan and I both were like, yeah, let's go with that. So that's how that went. That's how it goes a lot of times. Sometimes, you can sit down and just try to come up with something new. that's a lot harder, but if someone's already got something
Just
started,
a little bit of something.
Yep. And so like this last time, we wrote for Nick, and Nick, which Nick, I'm not sure if Nick's going to cut it. If Nick doesn't want to cut it, I might cut it. But I'm trying to think what it was called. Never mind. I don't know if we're going to title it Never Mind or Never Mind. But that's the kind of the hook, is the play on words, is like, well, never mind, but you were never mine.
Yeah.
Never mind. So it was a cool little tune. I think it's perfect for Nick. So I hope he cuts it. And then later on that afternoon, we wrote from 11 to 4 with Nick, and then from 4 to like 8 or 9 we wrote with Hayden Kaufman, and that's when we wrote a song called Silver Silverado. And I told Ryan, I kind of hooked up the write. I think both of those guys have been trying to write with each other for some time, and I'm glad that I was able to make it all happen and work with those two guys, because Hayden and Ryan are both like amazing songwriter. I mean, way up there. I was able just to kind of sit back and not let them do the work, but let them do their thing. And I just recently bought my great uncle's truck, so he's like a grandfather to me. And I just recently bought his truck, and it's a '99 Silverado with less than 50,000 miles on it. And it's just beautiful shape, and every time I drive it, I can feel like he's there, and it's very special to me. Like, I have it covered, I never drive it, and it's something that ever since I was a little kid, I was like, man, I love that truck, And so, I ended up inheriting it and all that kind of stuff. And I thought of that title one day, and I messaged Ryan right away, and I was like, what do you think of this title? And he's like, I like it. And he's like, let's write it. And then this past time I was like, you know what? I really love Hayden Kaufman's style. Very traditional country, very soulful and genuine. And I was like, I think combining him and Ryan and myself will write a good song. So we wrote Silver Silverado, and I'm making a work tape right now. I actually started on it last night, and I'll send that work tape to the producer, and hopefully that one will be out this summer.
Cool.
It's my favorite one yet. Let's just say that. Definitely.
It's going to be very special. I think even if no one buys it, it'll be special to us. And I can already see the music video. The truck will definitely be in it. And it's the song is like I Drive Your Truck. It's very similar, the concept, but it's just my version of it, my take on it. So I'm very happy that Ryan and Hayden got to write it with me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. I know my dad, he does some songwriting, and he's
Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby.
How'd I know?
That's right. I need to set up a write with him.
He just said, just bring him over. Yeah. I'll get you his number, but
please,
then you can do or maybe I'll get Paige's number.
Put her to work.
Probably a good idea, right?
Yeah.
No, but he's retiring. Well, he is retired now. He just used to mow, and then, so now he's just done, and he's at a band. Well, he had a band, and then he's busy, and I don't know all the details, but now he's singing again and writing and doing all that stuff. So we'll have to set you guys up.
And that's something your dad writes and sings, and so does Ryan's.
Yeah, and somehow I didn't translate to me. I don't know. I didn't.
What do you mean you just got a different kind of talent?
Well, yeah, I tried the guitar thing. And, I know E, F, and G.
There we go.
Not chords, the string.
That's good enough. That's a start.
I told that to someone. They're like, yeah, that's 3 chords. I'm like, no.
Just the strings. Just the notes.
Just this the one bottom string.
But you know how to work the hell out of a camera.
yeah, right. But that was...
that's something Paige and I are trying to learn how to do just a little bit. I'm like trying to learn all the terms, like, what is aperture? What does this mean?
I'm going to be teaching some kids... You can come. No.
I was going to say, no, we probably should.
No, I'm teaching some middle schoolers at Meadowbrook every Wednesday.
How cool.
It was supposed to be
videography
today.
And photography?
Yeah. So it was supposed to be today, but this snowed out, so we're starting next week.
What school?
Meadowbrook.
Oh,
what a good experience for kids.
Yeah, so that'll be good. And I had Meadowbrook Makers Club from high school. They video chatted in, so it was pretty cool.
How awesome.
You have to use this set, and so you're on Zoom, you're like, how you doing? And it's all fancy looking, and so I showed them cameras and all this stuff. And
how cool. That's awesome.
So, yeah, because I don't know. I don't even think I was very necessarily I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. I was just I was business minded, so that's why I do my own stuff. But then I think once I got into college and that side of things, that's when I started to be a little more creative, a little less just do this. And so that's when I started to get a little more okay, let's have fun with life instead of
and so perfect for reach and teach.
I know.
We'll have to bring you into that, because that's the same thing as showing kids in high school that hey, we don't want to talk you out of college, but there's so many career choices out there, and don't let somebody
do you know who that's through?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like what? Or what's
April
Clark is the
Is it okay?
April Clark is the founder, and then Cameron Fleener is he considered a founder?
He's the co-founder.
Co-founder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and Cameron Fleener is the lead singer of the world famous vocal Pygmies.
Yeah.
You gotta check 'em
World
out.
famous rock band for real. I mean, they're amazing. Like they've been gigging the last couple months like nothing's going on. They've been playing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday. It's just because they have such a major fan base. Like as soon as they got back into gigging, like people were like, "We're coming."
Right.
Oh, if you
I
went,
mean-
you're going to go with us to see one of their shows.
Yeah.
You'll be like,
You will. Spring break. We just might see him.
oh, we will.
Oh.
They're like the great. You'll be
Maybe.
like, this
Teaser.
is what entertainment. You walk away from their show and you're like, I
Wow.
can't wait to go back. Like you walk out of there like you went to see Kiss. I mean, it's they're amazing. But
Yeah.
they founded Reach and Teach, and you'd be the perfect person for that to show. Be so cool for you to show the kids that side of things.
Because they do,
Right,
like how it
yeah.
works is, so it's a 13-week program, and the students plan and execute the concert. So they're working on marketing. There's a team that does the cameras.
Yeah.
You know, they are
Everything.
doing ticket sales.
Marketing.
They're making the tickets. I mean, they're doing everything of, to show how to make a successful concert.
Everything like a festival concert would have. So like,
Okay.
even though it's usually in a gymnasium that's blacked out in the middle of a school day, so they get a concert. But not only is the school getting a concert, they're also raising money for whatever the cause they're trying to raise money for, and all the students are involved in making, like she said, making the ticket prices, getting the EMTs, getting
Yeah.
law enforcement involved, and then also not only does this help raise money for the school, help these kids gain valuable skills like talking to adults and
Yeah.
shaking hands, but then also they reach out to these sponsors for Reach and Teach and for that particular event that they can use later. So like, say they reach out to the local bank for a sponsor and they sponsor, they've made that connection. Now when they graduate, say they want to go
could
work
be
for the
there,
bank
yeah.
or something, that connection's already there.
Right. No, that's a good program. And what's funny about that is Jordan Spence, he was our last guest, and it came out last Tuesday or this last Tuesday, and he works with he works for building bridges to communities, and they do a very similar thing. So that's what I wasn't sure if it was actually connected to that, but
No, I don't believe it is,
No, I
but
don't
definitely
believe
a
so.
similar
It might
concept.
be a 9-week program. I'm like thinking,
they do a
gosh,
lot
is it 13? It might be 9
more
weeks.
broad. Is this one just state? Is this just the music?
It's just
festival
high
stuff?
school. Yeah, it's
Yeah, high school.
just high school, and it's basically it's part of the junior and seniors. FBL, not FBLA, FBLA,
Yeah.
Future Business
Leaders
Leaders
of
of
America.
America.
So it's part of like, I was homeschooled, and then just senior year I was thrown into high school, so I'm not quite sure what my school had.
Yeah.
But a lot of schools have like a business class in your senior year, counts as
Yeah.
your credit. Well, this is basically their major project. Yeah.
Right,
It's their
okay.
major project for your junior and senior
Yeah.
year, and so it's for them. It's not only a grade, but the teachers are always telling us, they're like, man, this really beats them making posters with glitter. And like this really, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff that you do, like juniors and seniors
Just
do, it's
art.
not fun.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
cool. Like bringing a concert in the middle of the day.
Right. No,
It's awesome.
that is very cool. And so they do a lot more broad, I think. So they're doing like a law enforcement class, a X class. It could be anything.
Wow.
Basically they connect them with like the kids could come here and learn and
That's cool
do
That's
too, though.
awesome.
so
That's
that kind of stuff.
fantastic.
So it's close, but I think might be something to look at. But no, I just had something on my head. I don't
It's
even remember
really
what.
cool.
But no, just having hands-on, experience at that age. I wish I would have, sold that side of things, or I would have, been doing artist management and being a booking agent way quicker.
Yeah.
If I would have, just known that was out there.
Well, then those kids have to reach out to. Oh, is that ours? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't care.
Oh, it's mine. I have mine on.
It's me.
I have mine on. It's nobody.
No, but that reminded me of my point was so FBLA did you have FBLA?
I did not.
Okay. See, ours was called
don't-
DECA, and I don't
Which
know.
it is some called DECA,
it's
in
just,
certain
just
regions.
depends on. I think the like more. Well, no, but ours was DECA, and it was one of those classes that was more business centered, and so you'd have a Now we didn't do a lot of long term projects, but we did. So we would do like simulations on personal finance or
Awesome.
the stock market or something, and that's where like out of all the classes I took in high school, that of course what I'd like to do, but
Of course.
that's the one I remember, and it was more hands on. You got to go to competitions. It wasn't just paperwork and do it. So that was a very fun, you got to go for like 2 or 3 days to Columbus and dress up and do these like mock interview kind of things. So it was very cool. But I think they need a lot more of that. And it's starting to get there to where it's like, you're getting a lot more of these like more targeted classes in high school versus do your math, do your read, whatever it is. And I think it's getting better. And I think even going into college, and this always comes up every podcast, but because everyone's always taught we're either on college or we're not. And, you know, I'm like, I always tell everyone, I'm saying, you know, if you don't know what to do, think about it. Don't waste too much money going to college before you know what you even want to do. Because that's kind of what I did. I was like 1 or 2 years in, and then I was like, I already started my own business. Why am I here? You know, and so it ended up being more, I dropped out, and then now I do this. And so that's what I try to tell you. I'm like, could have saved some money.
Well, I think anymore it's not like an opinion. Like you can see the statistics where we have a serious problem with you know, the student debt and people going to school for a degree they're never going to use, and that doesn't mean that people like. I'm not going to be like anti-college.
Right.
That doesn't mean that either one way or the other. It's just to each their own. And that's what I think people have to decide. But then there needs to be less people screaming at young people that you got to go.
Yeah,
that's what I think the problem was, you know, it was either go to college or you're an idiot. Yeah,
basically. Or you're going to fail. That's how it was
even in my school. I feel like schools are transitioning, at least I'm hopeful that they are, to career readiness instead of like college prep, college readiness. Career readiness. Whether like you go to college or not, you can still be successful.
Yeah.
You know, just showing kids there's different outlets. And if college isn't for them, that doesn't mean they're not going to be successful or get a good job. You know, so that's why I'm hoping that within the next like couple years, a lot of schools will gear towards career readiness.
And I think like Mideast, you know, they do that kind of stuff. What's that called?
Technical college.
Career tech.
Yeah, like a career tech. There's some weird high school name for it, but you know, even 2016, that time frame, we would, you know, they'd say, well, here's your friends, they're at Mideast, and you're here because you're going to college. And you almost felt like, oh, those guys that went to Mideast are weird. Like, that's kind of how it felt, you know, like, now you look at them like, oh, they make good money and they're completely happy and content. They have zero debt. But I felt like it was always, you'd look at them, or you wouldn't look at them personally, but you'd always see like, well, you can go to Mideast, but go to college, you know, and they'd like fluff up college like it was this really.
Oh, my school was, because I went to an art school, and I tell you what, I was like laughed at, like they made, and I didn't even apply to colleges because I'm like, I'm just not going. I've always done music, and I made a living playing music ever since I was younger. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to continue to do. And I was like, should I go to college for music? I was like, now I'll take private lessons, and that's what I've always done. But I'll tell you what, my senior year, when I wasn't one of the ones prepping and getting ready for college, I was getting it from all the other students. They were just like, in which I told Paige, I think in the school that I went to, a lot of those kids, like college, a lot of those kids, it was they were the first generation to go to college. So for them to even get to go to SCPA and then have the chance to go to college was like the greatest gift ever, you know, and for me being like, I don't want to go to college, to them it probably looked like, oh, like I don't, you know what I mean? I'm squandering, you know, my opportunity, which for me, that wasn't the case. And a lot of the students that I talked to and I explained that to them was like, oh, well, you're fine. But a lot of the kids are like, oh, he's just trying to be like, he's too good for college. And that wasn't the case at all. You know, I love college. Like I got the college experience. I just didn't get the paperwork.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get the diploma.
Did you get it from Paige?
No, it's so funny because my good friend John Townsend, who lives in Nashville, Tennessee, he's a producer, guitar player extraordinaire. He went to High State with a good friend of mine, Jacob Buttman, who's he's in his graduate for med school in over at Wright State. And
there's tunnels at Wright State. Did you know that?
Tunnels?
I saw it on Discovery Channel.
Like under the school?
They said, because it used to be like an Air Force base, like Wright-Patterson.
Yeah.
They said there's tunnels connecting every building at Wright State.
I guess there's one reason to go
there's
there.
a little bit.
It's about the only reason to go to school in Dayton. No, I'm just kidding. In the freezing cold.
No, but yeah, sorry, keep going. I was thinking about
but I went to college. I just didn't get a diploma because all my friends went to Ohio State, and then Paige went to Ohio State, and it would have been all my buddies' senior year is when the summer before my friend's senior year is when I met Paige, and so like they were all kind of like upset because they were like, oh, it's our senior year, and they were all single, and so they're like, oh, and I've always been single, and so they're like, oh my gosh, Adam's found a girlfriend or whatever, and I was like, she's the real deal, like I'm not messing around.
They didn't like me too well.
No, not at first. They were sad you were taking me away from them. Yeah,
that's everyone though. At first they're like, where's my guy? Where is he? And then it's like, well, he has a life now.
Now they see it 5 years later that she's like my right arm.
Right. Yeah.
She is. She's my smoking gun.
Yeah. So outside of music, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh,
Spartans.
we do get into too much stuff.
Yeah,
we have
we
so
do.
many hobbies. But
Just hobbies and hobbies and hobbies.
We have so many hobbies, but we try to make the hobbies businesses where they make money or something like that. But so we own a bunch of rental properties here in southeastern Ohio, and Paige manages them for the most part. I mean, I help too, but just like today, we had a guy move out, and we're cleaning it ourselves just because that way we don't have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Which we love it. That we flip antique RVs. We have two right now, a 1951 and a 1954. So they're both, antiques, beautiful pieces of old machinery, old history. Yeah, they're really cool. But
Yeah, and did you just redo an RV?
we're working on. We've had them for.
We did.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah, we did.
Number 3.
Yeah, so our rentals are actually park model campers that we've sat on private property. You've seen them, and one of them had a really bad leak and terrible damage, and it was about done for. But Paige and I, it was actually her idea. I told her, I was like, we have two choices, like burn the thing to the ground or repair it. And I'm like, it's somewhere in between there. And she's like, no, I think if we get it done nice and you let me decorate it, like we'll get someone in it. And we ended up renovating it. She decorated, picked out all the colors and everything, got it looking nice, went to King Carpet, got some remnants, and everything ended up.
That's where we got this.
Ended up,
Pretty.
she got it looking nice, rented it to a lady for like 9 months or so. And then she moved in with her fiance and we just rented it out again.
Yeah.
So, if you build it, they shall come.
Yeah. So how many are you continuing to add more?
Yeah, we're really working hard on it. We've got, we have six. Six at the moment.
now.
We're working on renovating a 7th maybe. It's a 1960s bus. It was my old tour bus, but it doesn't run. But it would make a great little Airbnb.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's
it's so
cute.
cool.
It's purple walls, gold ceiling,
Gold.
black floors. It's dope.
So have you done any Airbnb stuff with the current ones, or is it?
Yeah, they're all
We
on
have.
Airbnb.
Yep, they're all on
Yep,
Airbnb.
they're all on Airbnb, and we'll often that's we have everything on Craigslist, local newspaper, Facebook Marketplace, and then Airbnb.
And signs,
Does
physical
Airbnb
signs.
do well around here?
Yeah.
Mostly I think people right now there's a lot of industry coming in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think a lot of people are using Airbnb just to find a place
Just
to stay
somewhere
for
to-
work. It's not so much as like a place to stay for scenic views, but we offer both. So,
Yeah.
we're only 10 minutes outside of Cambridge, and we got beautiful rolling hills, fenced in horses, and so it's really pretty. And we make them to where everything's included, with Airbnb, so they just pay that one price and they don't have to worry about utilities or anything. So
Okay.
folks
Yeah.
coming in from
Yeah,
working
it's
at the power plant, it's
Oh,
perfect
yeah.
for them.
I bet there's a lot of people working on that power plant.
There is,
Yeah,
and
there is.
one guy told me, he's like, this is perfect for us. He's like, because if one of us catches COVID, we're all gone. He's like, if one of us isn't liked by somebody, we're gone. He's like, our job switches. There's so much in and out. He said, having a place to where if you break a lease, it's no big deal. That's great, because we just do month-to-month agreements.
Yeah.
Or Airbnb could be 5 days or whatever. It's whatever
Right.
people want. So
Yeah.
we enjoy it. We've had great experience with it. A lot of people tell horror stories about rentals. We've had some horror stories, but I'd say 99% of
Yeah.
everyone we've had has been a good experience.
Yeah.
So we love it.
Well, to wrap this up and get you guys out before there's too much snow.
Back into the blizzard.
Might be a little late for that, right? But to wrap this up, tell us a little bit. You said a little bit about your tour dates coming up, but if you want to shout out some dates, if Paige knows them.
Yeah, so you
bit.
can help me so if I forget something. So we just played in Chicago at a place called Scooters outside of Shorewood. That was a lot of fun. And then we're going back to Nashville at the end of the week. Or no, we're going to Nashville at the end of the week to I got like 3 or 4 rides set up. And then you'll be coming down to film me in the recording studio with Robinette, and then the next day band rehearsal at the Diamond Sound Studios in Nashville. So that'll be a nice couple of days down in Nash Vegas, and then we'll be going from Nashville down to the Gulf Coast to start our Gulf Coast tour. And I think actually
we will be doing
help me.
a going away party.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
So
will.
we just kind of solidified this the last couple of days. I thought that my last show in the area was going to be at the barn a couple of weeks ago, but they actually ended up keeping the tents up, and we were able to work out the scheduling to where I can play one last show in Ohio before heading down to the Gulf. So the 27th, it'll be a Saturday. I'll be playing at the barn in Zanesville. We're going to decorate the tables and get a bunch of balloons and give away a
merch.
bunch of merchandise. We're going to give away a bunch of things from the barn and different businesses and just make a big kit and caboodle out of it.
Yeah.
And it'll be our shove off. That'll be the last show in Ohio until like April or May.
Okay.
So it'll be we'll go from the barn in Zanesville the 27th. The next day we'll pack up the truck full of gear, go all the way down. We're gonna stop in Nashville for a quick right, and then the first show I believe is March 2nd or 3rd.
March 2nd.
Okay.
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
And we pretty much it's almost a show every day.
Really?
You know, it's a pretty people will just have to check the schedule. A lot of folks are going down there for spring break, I'm sure. So if you're spring breaking or just going down on vacation, let's see, we'll be in Pensacola, Panama City Beach, Fort Walton and Destin, Gulf Shores, Secrest, Orange Beach,
St. Louis Bay,
St. Louis Bay in Mississippi. I believe we're working on booking some dates in Louisiana, like Slidell. So all the Panhandle, all around the Gulf. You can find us from March 3rd till like April 10th or 11th. So about a month and 10 days we'll be down. Yeah, it's such a hard life. People say, you know, musicians.
Hard booking it, Mister.
It was. She has been on the phone, like working so tirelessly, but it's something we love so much. We have a really great Airbnb. The woman's a fantastic lady, and she puts us up the entire time, and it's only like 10 minutes from the beach. So on our off days, which there aren't very many, but we can go to the beach. I'm trying to talk Ryan to come down, and
he just got back from Florida, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got down to the Keys, a beautiful place. But yeah, he told me, he's like, I'm going to try to come down, jump on a few shows, and then on the off days we'll just go to the beach and write. So, but folks will just have to check out the fan page, Adam Calvert Music on Facebook. That'll have all my dates. Of course, my website, adamcalvertmusic.com. All those places you can find our upcoming shows. But from March 3rd until April 10th, we'll be in the Gulf, and then starting April 10th, we'll come make our way back up north. We're going to stop in Nashville on the way, and then April, May, June, July, August, we'll be all around Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Indiana,
Florida, Alabama.
and then we'll be going back and forth between the Gulf, Florida, you know, all those areas. So we're excited. It seems like, I know folks are fidgety and worried about things, but take it from someone who we've been traveling a lot and seeing a lot of what's going on. And the folks in Nashville, I've heard from several different artists about their agencies like William Morris and all the big agencies. Like, they're working really hard to bring back entertainment this year. Like, they're saying that it's going to be different for sure. But like the stadium shows they're all going to be switched. So like the stadium shows will start, that size of a show will be put into a theater. The theater shows will be put into like an acoustic venue. So everything will be knocked down a level. But it's going to be the first time in history where that's ever going to happen. So you might be able to go see Led Zeppelin play acoustic or something. You know what I mean? It might be really, I mean, it is what it is, but hopefully we can at least get back to some sort of, you know, reality and slowly get back into it without, you know, spiking cases and things like that. So.
Yeah. No, that'll be cool. I'm
ready for it.
We're ready. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to come down. I don't know when I'm coming down, but
we're gonna make it work.
We'll make it. Yeah.
You'll love it. There's
I'll be there at
like
some
the
point. So
in Navarre, I'll tell you what, where we stay has one of the prettiest beaches in the country. Like, and then of course 30A.
Yeah. So 30A is like a 26-mile stretch in between Panama City and Destin, and they call it the Nashville South. So a lot of, you know,
Luke Bryan has a home there.
Big name artists, you know, want a vacation
the Truman
home.
Show? You've seen the movie The Truman Show? It was filmed at 30.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful area, wonderful people. That's probably my favorite town in Florida.
That's one of our favorite venues. It's called Peddler's Pavilion. So like when I went there, I was like tired from the night before, and she drove to the gig, and when we pulled in, the whole time on the ride over, I thought like peddlers, like you're a peddler, like you're peddling money or you're peddling. No, it's Peddler's Pavilion. So like
bicycles.
Everyone's riding around on bicycles. It looks like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, it is so precious. The people are so nice. It's you'll have to come.
I'll be there.
It's very, and the water is legit like turquoise. Like it's legit. Like, what do they call it? Not turquoise, but what's the gem? Sapphire? I can't remember. Emerald. It's emerald because they call it the Emerald Coast. Yeah, they call it like the Emerald Coast or Emerald Isle or something. Yeah. The water's truly like emerald. It's beautiful. We can't wait to have you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and we'll
get out of the snow.
We'll be able to shoot some cool stuff outside of the venues too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got beaches, we've got drones. We can do some stuff. So.
Absolutely.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work. And thank you at home for watching and helping me get through here. Yeah, wait one more time.
Yeah, find us online. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, sorry, they didn't see your first wave. They were looking at me for some reason. Weird. But thank you guys for coming and talking a little bit about the business side, about the music side. This is just really supposed to just be a discussion. So worked out well. I'd ask a lot of questions, I know, but
that's great. Hope my answers weren't too drawn.
Yeah, I like to make it a little more longer.
Come back around. Paige and I talk about it all the time.
What was I?
I know we start talking about something like, wait, what was the original thing?
I've done that about a couple times.
Oh no, I do that all the time. That's why if you watch any of these, you'll see me saying, "Oh, what about this? Jump back here and there and all this." But no, seriously, thank you. This will be out for you guys, it doesn't. Everyone else listening, it's already out because they're listening to it. But this will be out this coming Tuesday. You can tweet it out, share it out. Sound old, tweet it out. Everything. Put it everywhere. Instagram, Facebook,
Absolutely,
YouTube, everywhere.
yes.
You can follow the podcast on Spotify. I don't know if you can follow on Apple. I'm not sure. Do you know? You can rate it.
Find
I know
out.
that.
Rate it,
You can
yeah.
rate the podcast. But go there and figure it out. And thank you for listening. Now, please exit the building.